Hi, I'm Teri, Kilo Oscar 4 Whiskey Foxtrot Papa, and this is...
I'm Glenn, W4YES.
Thanks for joining us. We've released a series of videos on this YouTube channel about instant character recognition, which is also known as ICR. This first video covers how ICR came about, what it is, and what the videos in this series address. Now, I know you may be tempted, right, to skip ahead to video 4,
No.
which addresses the ICR training regimen.
No.
However, we encourage you to invest the time to watch all these videos. To get the most out of this training tool, each of these videos is necessary. And if you skip them, you're going to negatively impact your training.
It's not going to make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
How did ICR come about? Instant character recognition was introduced to CW education in 2016 by this guy who's sitting next to me, Glenn, W4YES.
Well, knowing that CW education needed improving based particularly on outcomes, I went on a journey to discover. And I came across Nancy Cott's WZ8C, her seminal writings of the ICR concepts. It completely revolutionized my thinking. She nailed the concept. But of course, there was no methodology to go with it, no methodology to back that up and put legs to it, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But the journey had begun, and I created a highly effective, structured methodology with a copyrighted curriculum which had never before been attempted. Now, the term ICR, right, it has been picked up everywhere and has grown into a widespread buzzword. It is presented as a concept only, like your goal is to get ICR. But it lacks a foundation to build two things. One is the ICR proficiency itself, and number two is the set of skills that build upon that proficiency. So you must have the ICR concept and methodology working together.
Right.
Right, to really realize the benefits of this skill. Now, keep in mind that the ICR process, let's just simplify things. It's not complicated. In fact, it's very simple, but it's not easy.
No, it's not.
Right? It takes
effort.
Of course, anything worth anything is going to take effort. But this is the foundation of everything we all do with the code. And this video series is based upon those years of experience solely focused on ICR, and will take you through the original and only effective methodology of instant character recognition. And whether or not you've heard of or practiced ICR, these videos will provide the original and complete picture of the benefits, the methods, and the results of ICR.
What are the fundamentals of instant character recognition? ICR, in a nutshell, is replacing decoding with recognition of the Morse alphabet, the numbers, and the 4 common punctuation marks. The goal of ICR is to feel the shape of the characters, to hear the characters as a single unit, and overlearn the characters to the point of recognition, right? Instant character recognition, instead of retrieval, which is decoding dits and das like a lookup table.
Dits and das.
Let's talk about those dits and das for a moment.
Yep.
You've all heard that we have to stop counting the dits and the das. And that's true. But how? And most people don't know how to tell you to do that. They don't give you a methodology to do that. But ICR does. Now, the dits and the das are always going to be heard, right?
Yep.
What we don't want to do is to count the dits and the das. You can recognize and hear the characters as single items, and you will if you'll follow the methodology that we show in this series, and you put in the dedicated effort. Remember, Glenn was talking about, it's simple, but it's not easy. It takes effort and training. And we'll show you how to do that in this video series. The goal of ICR is to go straight from the Morse sound to the character. And we do this through mental association. Association really is the key, isn't it?
Yes.
And the Morse sound becomes the equivalent of the character through this association. How do we do that in the training? Is by speaking the character aloud.
Yes, that's an important point. Right, that's how the association is created, is to hear the sound of the Morse and hear the sound of the spoken character. Even though it's your own voice, the brain will couple those together tightly so that when you in the future you do hear that Morse character, that spoken character will come to mind. The old way, right? The old way of doing this, we like to call it the decode monster. It's a monster. We need to show the exit, right? But the decode monster is the detoured, zigzagged, and the slow method, right, of making sense of the characters. There's a great book that introduced us to the idea of what we call System 1 and System 2 in the brain. Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow. Fantastic book about how he breaks it fundamentally. I mean, the brain is infinitely complex, but he breaks it down into two pieces. We tend to, with Morse code, stay in the System 2, which is the slow, methodical, trying to figure out part of the brain. System 1, on the other hand, is fast, it's reactionary, it's there, it's the familiar part of our brain. We see things that are familiar, like the word family is familiar. That's where we recognize those Morse characters as being familiar and not have to try to decode them. And so this next topic is a large piece of what we're going to do here, the ICR puzzle. And it took years to discover this through just trial and error. The only way of breaking the habit of decoding, and it's a habit, is to increase the ICR training character speed to 30 plus words per minute so that we can't focus on the individual dits and das. But that, don't check out yet. 32 plus words per minute is just your training speed.
Right, not your on-the-air speed.
And it's just your character speed. It's just hear those characters with a speed that part of your brain that wants to decode can't do it anymore. And the other part of your brain, System 1, takes over. And it does a beautiful job. It does a fast job of this. And this is done in order to hear the characters as a whole and not be able to count those dits and das. So early versions of what we did with ICR, I used to think 20 words per minute character speed was adequate to hear the characters as a whole. It's not. Then it was 25. It's like a year on each one of these numbers. And that's not. Then 27. And that's not. And then we finally hit 30 words per minute, and it started to happen. And so what we do now is we ask people in our courses at CW Innovations to start listening to the characters at least 32 plus words per minute. And beyond that, you find the number that works for you. And we all know where that number is once we hear it, and we realize that I can no longer decode these. I'm forced to hear that. And what I like to call it bends the brain away from decoding dits and das.
And we have people in the class, right, that sometimes have to go way faster than 32. They'll go
40 plus.
Up to 40 plus,
Yeah.
because that's just how their brain works.
And
It
they
needs
say
to be that fast.
Well, a lot of it depends on how ingrained you are with the decoding, right? The more firm that habit is, the more difficult it will be to break. And oftentimes it just requires a faster character speed. And that's fine. In fact, that's encouraged. But the character speed is the foundational and functional component of ICR. Without that character speed to bend the brain, nobody can become proficient with recognizing those characters.
This video series includes 4 videos, including this introductory video that you're watching right now. This video lays the foundation for videos 2 through 4. And it is so important that you watch these videos in order. And if you don't, remember what I said earlier? You're going to negatively impact your training.
Yeah, it won't make sense.
What's in videos 2 and 4? Video 2 covers why ICR matters. Video 3 takes you step by step through the ICR training tool, and that's what we use at CW Innovations, Word List Trainer on the Morse Code World website.
In fact, it's the only thing we use.
Yes.
That we simplify it, right? Keep it simple. Always keep it simple. It's one course, by the way. Just one course. Video 3 will give you an in-depth look at what Wordless Trainer is capable of doing. And because sometimes a user runs into an issue one way or the other because they've turned on or off a button accidentally. And knowing how the trainer works allows you to troubleshoot in those situations. Mm-hmm. Also, knowing the capability of the trainer, and it is the most flexible CW training tool available.
It's amazing.
It's incredible
what that tool will do.
Yes, morsecode.world.
And it's free.
Wordless Trainer. It's free. It's even better. You may come up with creative ways to augment your own training with this tool.
Mm-hmm. Video 4 takes you step by step through the ICR methodology itself, the training regimen for instant character recognition.
That's our destination.
That's right. That's where we all want to go. And understand, and this is something that we come across, ICR is a process. It's not like you ever get to a point where you're like, okay, I have ICR, I've arrived. It is a process, and it takes time, and there's always improvement that can happen with your instant character recognition.
Very true.
One thing that we don't have attached to this video and this series, but we will be recording in the future, is a set of videos that will address questions and misconceptions that often arise because of the unique nature of this process. There are a lot of people that don't understand about this training methodology, and we run across it in other CW forums and also people that we're helping. So we're going to take some of those misconceptions and questions, and we're going to address them.
We're going to, make them dissolve.
We're going to try. And that will be forthcoming. So after you've viewed this video series in its entirety and you've started your ICR training, if you have any questions, please come to us, because we're going to provide the correct and necessary answers and insights that you're looking for. So, how do you reach us if you have those questions? You can reach us at info@cwinnovations.net, right?
That's just barely right. That's absolutely right.
So, thank you for joining us here, and good luck with your ICR training.
Have fun.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.